and state your name and spell
Hello, I'm AJ Eckert, and that is AJ. My last name is Eckert.
it. Alright, so where were you adopted from?
I was adopted from a town in Russia called Penza. It is southeast of Moscow, and you can travel there by train from Moscow.
Alright. And at what age were you adopted?
I was adopted at 9 months old. I didn't spend very much time in Russia. I went pretty much right from the hospital to an orphanage for that time.
Okay, so growing up, how did adoption affect your life?
I would have to say that it affected my life by that I could recognize some differences between myself and my adoptive family. However, over time, those changes sort of became less, and I felt more just like I wasn't adopted, even though I was. And since I was only in Russia for 9 months, I don't remember anything from Russia or the anything else from that period, so I essentially grew up here in the US and I was able to not really feel as different as some other adoptees.
Since you were adopted from another country, how have your parents helped you learn the culture of Russia?
They really let me learn the culture on really if I want to learn it. They offer up I remember they would order a magazine called Russian Life that described different aspects of Russian culture, its people, food, events, festivals, all that kind of thing. So I'd read through the magazines and learn a little bit about the country. Also, they encouraged me to take Russian classes here in college, though I didn't really want to. So they've really encouraged it, but they haven't forced me to learn about it. It's more if I want to learn about it myself.
What challenges have you faced due to your adoption?
There's several legal or governmental challenges, certainly. I remember about 5 or 7 years ago, I had to get my immigration status completely changed, even though it was changed when I arrived in the country and became a citizen. I had to go with my parents to update some documents regarding my citizenship and making, like, pretty much not really finalizing it, but doing something with it. There's certainly some psychological challenges, feeling different a little bit when I was growing up, but not so much anymore. Challenges really regarding whether I want to learn more about my past. It was a essentially closed adoption. I only have a few documents that give some names and a date of birth, but on my birth mother, and then there's not really any information on my birth father. So really, I have to ask myself if I want to dive deeper into that and try and learn more, or if I want to just continue as I am and leave it as is.
What benefits have you kind of received or gained from being adopted?
I'd say the main benefit is connecting with other people who are adopted because we share very similar experiences, life stories, that kind of thing. So, along during growing up, I have been able to make a decent amount of friends that were adopted, and I know a lot more that my parents had connections with that were also adopted. So a lot of those people became my friends, and we were able to have a more on a deeper level a connection that not as many people can understand because they haven't been through it.
Now that you are an adult, what are your own thoughts on adoption?
That's a hard one. I don't really know at this point. I would certainly be open to the option to provide a child an opportunity that I was given, but also there are, it's a hard thing because having a kid that doesn't know who their parents are, if it was a closed adoption or if an open adoption, knowing that their parents gave them up for whatever reason, that's also hard. So really, I'm kind of not sure about it right now, but I would certainly be open to it in the future.
Right, you already answered the next question.
Mhm.
How does your adoption story compare to others that you know have been adopted?
So, as I spoke in a previous question, I know a fair number of people who have been adopted. My parents were part of an adoption agency or a group that specifically focused on Russian and Ukrainian adoptions. So, earlier when I was growing up, we were able to meet people in that group, and then also my parents, their best friends, my mom's college roommate also decided to adopt at the same time. So they traveled together to Russia, and my parents got me, and then our family friend got another boy who I still remain in a very good friend with, who was adopted at the same time as me. So they went to the same orphanage to get us. They went to the same court to sign the documents over. They took the train, they explored Moscow, all during that same trip. So, and the family friend, the boy, ended up being diagnosed with autism. So, really, talking with him is a different experience because he has a harder time being able to express exactly how he feels. So, other people that I know who were adopted was my girlfriend Helen. She was adopted from within the country and within the state, so her adoption is similar but different to mine because mine was out of country, and yours was in country. That was the main difference. But however, ours were both closed adoptions, so we don't have as much information on our parents as others may have. She only knows names and a few other pieces of information, and that is the same with me. Another difference, I guess, is really the language barrier. My documents that were part of my birth were in Russian, so they had to get those translated, and a whole lot of different things with that.
So, how has adoption impacted your relationship with your own family?
It's a little bit of an interesting perspective because I'm the only one in my immediate family that is adopted. I have a sister who was not adopted, but I really don't feel like I'm different than my family now. I'm one in them and they're one in me, and that's really how I feel about it. But they're all thought, I remember them talking about it, they all came to New York City to meet my parents when their flight came in from Moscow, and everyone was so excited to meet me and the new member of the family. So, but since I came over at 9 months, I didn't have an opportunity to grow up in a different environment, so it's easier for me to acclimate more and just have them feel like they're my family.
How has adoption impacted your relationship with friends, significant others, things like that?
So, with my relationships with friends, a lot of them know that I was adopted, but it doesn't really impact our relationship. It's just kind of a cool thing about me to them, I guess. But being able to connect with other people who are adopted, and if they choose to share that information, it's very cool to connect with them on a deeper level than other relationships could. as far as romantic relationships, Helen, my girlfriend, is adopted, and we were able to really start a conversation over that and share our experiences with our families, our own set of friends, and that sort of thing. So I think in the end, it really strengthens relationships, and it's really on the adoptee to choose whether they want to share the information or keep it private.
So, what kind of things in your day-to-day life now do you see as kind of like a benefit or something that you were able to achieve because you were adopted?
So before I get to that, it really builds off that I was able to have a normal childhood. I was able to go to good schools in a good town in a good household with a good family, and I really wanted to hone in on the normal life experiences as a child, and I was really given that opportunity to grow up and experience everything from my elementary school days to middle school to high school and all that. And then getting to now, I am in a very nice apartment. I was able to attend the school of my choice, all from the help of my parents, who encouraged me and supported me and currently support me.